I caught wind that yesterday the selection committee for the Vinyl Four, I guess this is Battle of the Bands. Is this Vinyl Four, subtitle Battle of the Bands?
I think it's, the greatest rock act of all time is what I was told. They're calling it.
I guess it's acts because there's also solo artists that would be in there.
Yeah.
And one of the bubble options was thrown out there. Bubble being, like bands that are on the cusp of either making it into the field of 64 or getting a cut. Now, I'd heard that Billy Squier is, according to Joe Lenardi, spelt differently than the CBS Sports analyst, the bracketologist, that Billy Squier is on the outside looking in. And I don't know. I don't know what Billy Squier could do at this point to get a victory.
He's in the dark. But, I mean, the selection committee is trying to come up with the 64 greatest rock acts that will be, thrown into different regions. And then it'll be decided by you who votes, who is the greatest rock act of all time. And, I popped in the meeting yesterday and I said, you got Sammy Hagar in there, right? And they're like, oh, Sammy Hagar. Yeah, he's we're not sure on Sammy Hagar.
What?
And I'm like, well, wait a second. You understand? I mean, I realize everybody's going to vote differently, but here's a guy that was, reinsurged Van Halen, Montrose, and he was gone out on his own, and he's got Chickenfoot.
Yes.
And so how he's not, in
some
the
other
discussion
new project that he's working on right now,
for, greatest rock act of all time is beyond me, and I don't see his name here.
What?
I mean, I'm looking at everybody here? Oh, that's just, look at this. It's all alphabetical, and I don't see Sammy Hagar's name. Now, what does this say here? It says, Vinyl 4 presented by Vina Robles, last call to get your voice heard, limit 64 bands, artists for the best rock of all. Who is missing? Who should be here? Sammy Hagar, again.
Yeah,
Sammy Hagar and Neil Young. He had to choose.
That's a tough one.
Is Neil Young rock?
Yeah.
He is?
Yeah.
He's not a folk singer?
Dude is an amazing guitarist. He's like totally underrated when it comes to guitarist.
Who sold more albums? Over the course of their life.
Maybe Neil Young.
He sold more albums than what...
Well, because you got to think...
that Sammy Hagar did with Van Halen, Montrose, Chickenfoot, on his own.
Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. Buffalo Springfield. He's part of both those bands. He's kind of like the Sammy Hagar of hippies. If Sammy Hagar was a hippie, he'd be Neil Young, except for probably not as good a guitar player. That's a tough one, but it's a
How does Slayer make this list and Sammy Hagar doesn't?
That's beyond me. Yes, I would say I would take Sammy Hagar over Slayer. I would take Sammy Hagar over Slayer any day because the mass appeal. I mean, dude, think about MTV in its heyday and the revamping of the Van Halen lineup. How often?
By the way, Neil Young is not on the list.
You heard Dreams,
and that's why I brought him up.
So Neil Young's another one that's on the bubble. I think what we should do is we should source the committee, and we'll do this over the next 15, 20 minutes and get the poll question up today, and we'll find one of the bubble matchups. I think
sometime next week is when the upfront brackets come out.
So and give people an option to help out the cause for some of these bubble bands or acts who they think would be a better fit between the two. Like it's kind of like the play-in games for the NCAA tournament. You take these bubble matchups and you're like, okay, who do you think is more deserving in being in the field for the field of 64? Would it be Sammy Hagar or Neil Young? Or would it be Sammy Hagar or Billy Squier? Or would it be...
Okay, let me ask you, Sammy Hagar or Billy Squier?
Sammy Hagar.
Okay.
Would it be Neil Young or Billy Squier?
It would be Neil Young. So here's the, is that a real question? Tire Guy Jeff writes in, he says Neil Young all day. Here's how it works. Next week, just like we did last year.
Did the Fabulous Thunderbirds crack the top 64?
I didn't see him on the list. But you can see this list on the Jeff and Jeremy page on Facebook. Just type in Jeff and Jeremy in the search bar, and it's right there at the top. important to point out is how this works. And it works just like the NCAA tournament. If you've ever filled out a bracket for an office pool, if you played
Is it just
the
64?
Vinyl Four last year where we were trying to find the greatest album of all time, we will have an upfront bracket. Everybody will have matchups. You will just have to fill it out ahead of time. And whoever gets the most points out of getting the most correct has this fantastic prize.
There was no last year. Last year, as far as albums were concerned, Queen didn't make it in. Rush didn't make it in. Did both those bands make it into the field of 64? All right, but it's not a done deal yet.
It's not, but they are on the list to make it in, and I'm pretty sure that they're going to be on the list. So you can let us know on Facebook. You can also text in if you'd like, 805-543-3693. But this is your last opportunity. I believe this is going away today. This will be done today. Tomorrow we will know who will be the field of 64.
No.
I believe so.
Why don't we leave it up? I mean, if the brackets don't get released,
that's what I was told. That's what I was told.
Well, that's dumb. Is it a stalling committee? Is it ran by stalling?
I was told that it needs to start on Monday. We say good morning to Suzanne. Hello, thank you for coming in.
Good morning.
There she is.
So, can I just say one thing first?
You can say, no, you don't have to be defensive either.
No, I'm not defensive. I'm just like, this is really hard to do.
No, this is very tough.
It's really hard.
I popped into this meeting.
That, Jeff.
I popped into this meeting. Jeff was not in the meeting yesterday. Apparently, he wasn't feeling well to go home early.
If Jeff had his way, the Japan droids would be on this.
Stones. So I had to go to the hospital.
Trust me, if I knew how to give you kidney stones, I would have given you.
And I realized, wait. As I'm sitting there in pain.
Way worse than kidney stones.
As I'm sitting there in pain, I go, wait, the committee's meeting today and I'm not going to be there.
All right, now you said you put up a new poll question. It's not on the website, so you need to figure out how to
hit refresh.
Operate.
It's on mine.
I just pulled it up. Okay, now
what is this?
Who was more deserving of a spot in the Vinyl 4 field of 64? These are
of just that list.
These are 6 bands.
Because there's
these are 6 bands that are either in or out.
Who deserves more?
2 of those are in.
You're not going to put Kiss on there?
4 of them are out. Kiss, I'll put it on there right now.
Put it on there.
So we came up with a list of 64 yesterday, and it was a tough decision. There were a lot left out. It's kind of like the same conversation that people have with like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Like, why isn't this band in? Why is this band in? Like, it's just, I don't know what the Rock Hall does, but for us, we only have 64 spots.
Yeah.
And, trying to represent suggestions from the listenership that we've gotten, trying to represent suggestions from the staff that we've gotten.
Kiss is not on there is beyond.
And
plus the research and development.
I just assumed they were on there.
At the end of the meeting yesterday, I was like, you know what? We are definitely forgetting something, and I bet you there's some stuff on here that people aren't going to appreciate. Let's see what people think. We're going to give them one last chance to sound off on this, and it's awesome because we've gotten some really great suggestions.
So I look at some of these names and I wonder, should they even be on the list? All right. Now, I'm going to throw out a name.
Everyone, like every single person has a different opinion.
Sure.
And everyone's going to come up with a different who shouldn't be on there.
Of course, that's obvious.
Yeah.
But now I just want to throw out a name and I want to hear your take and I want to hear Jeff's take on the band.
If you say Huey Lewis, you can just go home.
No, these are bands that are already on the list, right? Huey Lewis is not on the list. And I noticed 9 Inch Nails, who is your favorite band, is not on the list. So
They're
obviously
not.
There was no collusion here, okay? No collusion.
And Toad the Wet Sprocket's not on there, so I obviously had no say.
All right, first band I see, and I don't know a lot because I didn't listen to them. I know they have a couple of hit songs. Metal group Iron Maiden. Should they be on this list, Jeff?
And remember, just in case, it's best rock act of all time.
So when I am,
You just answer yes or no.
You take into consideration live performances. Iron Maiden's one of the best live shows that you could go to. But you take into consideration mainstream and album sales, not one of the top 64 acts of all time.
Let me ask you this question then.
So let's just clarify that we're taking into consideration the entirety of a career, the live, the recorded.
Yeah, no, I got you.
All of that.
Stop bothering us. People are texting in about the keyword at 9 o'clock.
I'm looking at these.
Sorry, we'll give it to you in a little bit. Just hang with us. Right now we're doing this.
At this short bubble list over on the KZOZ poll question.
Yeah. Would you rather see one of those bands on instead of Iron Maiden?
I would put Kiss in over Iron Maiden.
All right.
I would put Sammy in over Iron Maiden. I would put Green Day in over Iron Maiden. Black Crowes, that's about where it gets.
You're not sure about Black Crowes?
Yeah, and no to Mellencamp, no to Tool, and no to Slayer.
Why no to Tool? Tool's a huge band, been around for like almost 3 decades.
Cult following.
They are. There's a lot of cult following type artists.
Yeah, Grateful Dead's
out
on
there. Yeah.
Grateful Dead's on there, and I would say Grateful Dead is the cult following band, so therefore they should probably be in there. I mean, Grateful Dead are.
All right, what do you think about Kiss, Sammy, or Green Day, Suzanne? Because you're going to have to go back to the selection committee, and you're going to have to tell them what we said.
Right. And also, like, just so you know, if you haven't commented on the Facebook post yet, we are tabulating those, so we know exactly how many times a band has been suggested.
There's over 60 people that are...
So that's a small part of it, but
And
we are
805 beer text
we
line,
are
too.
taking into consideration like the number of times a band has been suggested by people in general. So if you want Kiss in there, go comment. If you want Sammy Hagar in there,
Kiss has been commented.
go comment. No, but again, as many times,
as many times you can,
because we're using math as well to try and do this in a fair.
Math. What's that?
I know.
All right,
It's
next
crazy.
one. Next one
So
that
anyway,
I question.
I would pick Kiss out of that.
And these are just the two bands that I question on the list. out
Don't
of
count on
64.
us to do the math for you.
You can't go 4 times around a quarter-mile track and make it a mile, right? Yes, you can. Don't listen to me. Yes, you can. Listen to the new Jeremy.
Don't count on us to do that math for you, please.
Listen to the older, wiser Jeremy. Yes, you can. Jefferson Airplane.
No.
Okay, now
All-
I know
all
that
7 of the
band's been
ones-
around for a long time.
All 7 of the ones that are at the poll
And so-
question at KZOZ.com, I would take over Jefferson Airplane.
You can also tell us who on the list you feel should be next, and we're keeping track of
Trust
that.
me, there's
as
a
well.
lot of that. There's a lot of that.
Like
going on.
overwhelmingly, people don't want to see Poison on this list,
Yeah, somebody said get Poison the F off the list.
and they're not the only one.
I'm better with Poison over Jefferson Airplane.
Here's the thing I have to say about hair rock bands from the 90s or the 80s. All right, you got Guns N' Roses, you got Motley Crue. No, that's it. No Rat, no Poison.
What about Bon Jovi?
And Bon Jovi probably should be on there.
Yeah, the problem
That's
is...
why this is so hard.
If it comes down to Poison or Bon Jovi...
But I know Poison should not be on there.
The
Bon Jovi.
fan in me is going to pick Poison, but the realist
Yeah.
says that Bon Jovi has had
No,
a
you got to
much
realize
bigger
you only
career
have
than Poison.
64 spaces on the arc, okay? And you don't want to bring some, wannabe,
Are you making this biblical the weekend before you?
You don't want Bret Michaels on your arc, Jeremy?
No, really, no. He's too good looking. All the girls would go to him.
You rather have John Bon Jovi?
His eyes are prettier than mine.
The thing is, you don't want infestation of disease on the arc,
Well, you can't bring Motley Crue then. I mean, come on.
or Guns N' Roses.
Wait a second.
Probably Led Zeppelin for that matter. I mean, come on.
Wait a second. There's no Red Hot Chili Peppers on here?
This is another one that's at the top of the we should add list.
80s,
votes.
90s, 2000s.
I'll add them. I'll add them to the poll question.
I mean, can I just say Stadium Arcadia? Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magic. Probably should have led with that
I don't
one.
know if we're going to be ready to go on Monday.
No, I
So,
think
like,
we're going to have to
it's out
push
of
it to
control.
Wednesday.
Like Red Hot Chili Peppers, to
Give us
me,
a couple more.
we need to get
more
some.
are more. They are more of a important band than like Stone Temple Pilots. I'm going to look at the NCAA when they do it. They look at strength of schedule. They look at common opponents. I'm going to look at genres and time that they came out. And you take Stone Temple Pilots and you take Red Hot Chili Peppers. Who's the bigger band?
Who's touring still? Who just played in Cairo at the
I mean,
pyramids?
Stone Temple Pilots are still touring.
Whose
but,
lead singer offed himself?
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
I mean, come on, in the name of rock and roll, Nirvana's on this list.
Well, still, I mean, Nirvana's
Sorry, I'm
bigger.
doing another list over here on my.
Nirvana's bigger than. Yes, the Doors are on the list, Bill the Schmuck, and I believe they will stay on the list.
Yeah, they should.
They're not
will
going
stay
anywhere.
on the
They were in the first round of things. They were in the top, echelon of getting votes and stuff.
Can I
They're
say
not.
something real
There's
quick?
certain bands that are not going anywhere. I will
Listen,
tell you this.
Everybody who keeps texting in asking if someone is on the list is public. It's on the KZOZ
No.
Facebook page and it's on the Jeff and Jeremy Facebook page.
Let's make this very clear.
We actually have that post embedded and linked at kzoz.com if you click on the Vinyl 4.
And
Okay, good.
the cool thing
Good.
is,
Go look.
you need to
So many places.
you need to look at that and know that it's not
It's not final.
the final. That is the rough draft.
Yes.
So I shouldn't get as mad as I am.
No, and this is why we do this.
That
This
Gin
is the
Blossoms
last
did not make the
chance.
mix-
This is the
the
last
list.
chance to say.
Chiba will chime in daily. All
Yes.
right, from home.
She had a.
She's
she
on the
had a
weekend.
list.
She's back. She used to be on the show with us. Listen, I love you like a sister, but all right. I'm sorry. Beastie Boys are not going to make this list, Chiba. All right,
She
so you
didn't
can just
say that. Did she say that? You're making this up.
No, she didn't. But she wants to help out. But the reason she wants to help out is because she wants to sneak a Beastie Boys in. It's not going to happen. Not on this list. Maybe another list. All right.
You know what? Like, I'm pretty sure Iron Maiden was a Chiba suggestion with like multiple exclamation points.
Okay.
Just so you guys know.
All right.
So she made her mark, and we'll see if that
So those
marks
were the
it.
two bands that that jumped off the page. Iron Maiden, Jefferson Airplane. I think that we could look at removing them. I think there's the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Kiss, Semi, Green Day.
Like there's definitely gonna have to be some that move out for things to move in. So that's
Right
that's
now,
what we're.
I think Tool
that's
might
why
have
we're
to
talking
go.
about.
If we're
this.
looking at the poll question right now, Mellencamp leading the way. That's somebody we haven't even talked about. Little
Yeah.
Pink Houses for you and me.
What, putting on the list?
Okay, so
I suggested that yesterday in the meeting, and apparently it didn't land on the page.
Here's the thing: is I always think of John Mellencamp as poor man's version of Bruce Springsteen.
Okay, so tell me this. Tell me this, because yesterday
So
I'm gonna.
if Mellencamp's on the list, Bruce Springsteen, bitch, you sweet ass, Bruce Springsteen better be on the list.
So I'll give you this little nugget from like an insight into what was going on yesterday, and it's like, okay, if we have this, we can't have this. Who would you rather have? And at one point, it came down to John Mellencamp or Lynyrd Skynyrd, and we went with Skynyrd. And that doesn't mean that we can't rearrange now based on some more comments, but that's what happened yesterday, and that was just one small part, and there were a lot more conversations before that happened. But
should Deep Purple be on this list? Are we positive that
I
they
say
should?
no, but I think a lot of people would disagree with that. I think the historic significance of Deep Purple is greatly overstated.
I'm sending that in with Iron Maiden,
It's
Jefferson
like
Airplane.
But you're also talking to a guy who, listens to the Jim Blossoms channel on Spotify.
Oh, did we got to tell him about the rumor?
That's not.
We can't talk about that?
Nope.
Okay.
What rumor?
Oh, sorry, dude.
Spotify's buying the radio station? 'Cause buying everything else.
Nope. Nope.
Subscribe to the Jeff and Jeremy podcast now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, and YouTube. It's your Central Coast commute-friendly podcast.